This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 186 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we're going to be talking about how to become a top beauty influencer with Shassity Stevenson. I am so excited to speak to her. This is a true blue entrepreneur, multiple facets to her business, and she is doing so many great things and wasn't really on a path that you ordinarily would expect in the beginning. So you are definitely going to want to dive in and listen to this episode. As always, I appreciate you guys so much when you leave a review on the podcast. It just helps to get new guests. So if you have a quick second, rate and review, I would truly appreciate it. All right, let's dive in. Hi, Shassity. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. I am so excited to dive into this conversation. Will you start off by introducing yourself and your business?
My name is Shassity Stevenson, and I am 35 years old. I'm a hairstylist and texture expert here in Charlotte, and I am the owner of Sky Salons and the creator of the Curly Littles Curly Littles campaign.
Very good. We're going to dive into all the different aspects of your business. You are a beauty influencer powerhouse. I was looking, of course, on Instagram, trying to find out all the information I possibly could about you. But as an entrepreneur with an online presence, as well as a person with clients in the Sky Salons, where did you get started? Because I feel like there's so many facets to your business.
You're exactly right. So I started 12 years ago in Louisiana. I'm a Louisiana girl. And it was when I made the decision that after graduating from LSU, I was pursuing medical school. And so I obviously made a complete left turn and decided against it. But I can say it's definitely a decision that I have not looked back. I don't regret it at all. So it started with me staying on the same street as the Aveda Institute. And I would drive by every day, just curious, like, what happens in there? Hair was always a passion. It was a hobby, but I never really looked at it like, a career. And it just took me that one day going in, and I made the phone call to my mom, like, I'm doing it. And like I said, going from hairstylist to a hair or lifestyle beauty brand, that was an even bigger jump. But it was something I felt, it's just, it felt natural to me.
Yes. So you started as a hairstylist, like working with people. Did you do weddings? Did you do prom? A lot of times people will get their hair done. Where did you kind of start with in-person clients?
Definitely in the salon. But I will have to say my first group of guinea pigs were my sorority sisters. Having taken a more non-traditional route, most hairstylists, most of us don't go to college, most of us go just, what you want to do and you go straight down that creative path. For me, I kind of had that built-in group of network of women from college. And so they were all up for, me, try it on me first. So I was a girl that, if any of them needed anything when we were in college, they knew I could do it, but it wasn't something like I really pushed. And so once the opportunity came, even as clients and once I was taking clients in hair school, they were up for it. So it definitely started in the salon. And then obviously, word spread to relatives and, things like that. So I was doing proms, I was doing weddings. And so definitely behind the chair in the salon was my first gig.
Okay. And what made you start an online presence? Because you have as a beauty influencer, you have a large presence.
For me, obviously, with the growth of social media, that was a big push. But I didn't just want to have one just to have it. I always look for ways to kind of, how can I cover more territory, cover more ground? And so with Instagram, that's where I started. And then I went on to have the website, but I wanted to see like, how can I have like the central place, put all of my thoughts, all of my suggestions, all of my tips in one platform or one place where people can have access to it at all times, and no matter where they are, that you don't have to sit in my chair to be a client or, a follower, So that is what prompted me to be like, you know what, let me take this to the next level.
Yes, no, absolutely. And you also have a podcast. When did you add that into the business model?
So September 2019 was when I launched the podcast, If This Chair Could Talk. But I actually trained and took all of the, courses to, learn how to work the things in the studio a year before. So I had this really bad habit of thinking I have to have everything perfect before I launch something. And a friend told me, most great things go through a series of evolution. And so I just had to be like, you know what, stop sitting on this, stop, thinking everything has to be right. Because as I now know, even with my website and, other online, I'm constantly changing things. So I finally, a year later, was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I did. So last fall was when we launched, and it's been amazing, an amazing way to have the conversations that I had in the salon, like I said, but with a much larger audience, because they're things that everyone deal with, so it's pretty cool.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think probably a large part of my audience that was listening kind of was like, yes, I'm that perfectionist too. I totally get it. Because so many of us are. It's that kind of like, I want it all to be pretty. It needs to look perfect. And it's almost that fear of starting. We've been talking a lot on the podcast recently, and a lot of the interviews that I've done, where that uncomfortable feeling of starting is always where the growth then happens, because you have to get uncomfortable to actually make any sort of strides forward, for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, the whole saying of, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough, and I can tell you, I have been pretty scared a lot of 2019 and 2020. So I'm hoping, that holds true.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think 2020, we all are going to, anytime we all say that year, I think we're all going to kind of squirm in our seats when we think about it. And for a very good reason. So obviously we're recording this. COVID is already here. We've been in quarantine, out of quarantine. We're in phase, I think, 2 here in Charlotte area. And you are actually working on a huge piece, something else to your business, Sky Salons. What is your vision for that?
So my vision is for Sky Salons. It's a collective beauty experience that I'm really big on. Selling an experience. I've never really been a good seller of products. I've never really been a good pusher of things, but an experience, I got you. I can sell you on that, because I think that's what most of my audience connects to. So as far as the environment, I went for a casual sophistication, like a laid back luxury vibe for both my clients as well as the creatives, the people that we bring on board, as well as like I said, the experience. We host some of Charlotte's top, most sought after industry professionals. So I believe in putting out a quality product and just, like I said, cultivating, the consumer experience. That's super important. So we are a boutique style salon suites concept. So you still have that ability to be your own boss and, structure and operate in your own space as you wish, but also having that, place for, community and culture to come together.
Okay. So it talks about 2020 makes us scream, right? In our seat. How has it been affecting? What have you been able to kind of decide to do moving forward? I know for me, I also, so not a salon or anything like that, but I had an in-person conference scheduled for April where we were supposed to have 75 women from around the country flying in for this. And we changed it to a virtual conference. What have you been doing because of COVID?
Man, well, I agree. COVID has definitely thrown us all for a loop. But I think it's all about just kind of, bending and adjusting. Lucky for me, in developing the concept, not even knowing. I think, God just gave me the vision because obviously, who would have ever thought this was going to happen? A lot of the structures and the amenities that we have in place are kind of, in compliance with the, social distancing rules that we have to, follow, as well as, just having the ability to not, like in traditional salons, for instance, where, it's a big open space, you're having blow dryers and things like that. That's not the case. Really, the only areas where we'll be affected right now, like you said, we're in phase 2 and we are not able to operate at 100% capacity, occupancy. So we're, having to reduce that. But another great thing is we're open 24 hours. Stylists can come and go as they please. They can schedule clients, however they'd like, whatever works for them. So those are some, really great benefits in being in a space like Sky. But I think just making sure that we're smart, with the washing of the hands, the cleansing of your tools and things like that. And I've been very fortunate thus far. Clients are very compliant and, they know that you're not going to get serviced if we don't follow rules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I've got it listed out. So, so far it's been okay. And with our numbers rising here in Charlotte, I'm glad that we can't operate, at full capacity because I know all the ladies are eager to get in there, and I'm pretty sure people will just, they'll be pressed to get in there sooner than, they probably should. So.
Yes, no, absolutely. So now you mentioned when we were talking about all the different areas of your business, you mentioned the Curly Little campaign. Tell me about that.
So the Curly Littles campaign is something, again, that took me about 12 months after the original idea to get going. Because to be honest, I was kind of scared, just of how well it would do. I knew there was a market for it. So essentially what it is, we're exclusively on Facebook, and it's an online hairstyling community for parents of kids with curly hair. I wanted to create a safe space for parents because it started from, I would get questions in the salon from parents that either had adopted kids, they had biracial, multiracial families, foster parents, and even just, parents who were born with straight hair and their kid has curly hair, just intimidated and afraid and just lost on what do I do with my kid's hair? And as you know, as a woman, hair plays a major role in your self-esteem, your self-image. And I was like, you know what? Again, let me put all this information in one place where there are other people that have the same issues, the same struggles. So I don't, there'll be one resource, one place they can get all the resources that they need. So that's what I did with Curly Littles. And so we've grown to, we're close to 500 members that we're very focused on helping those parents understand, how to have healthy at home, hair care routines for their kids. And
now, so is that a free Facebook community or is it a paid membership?
Absolutely free.
That's amazing.
And we were planning this summer, as we did last summer, we have camps around Charlotte. And so last year we had parents come in and we had kid models and we walked through just the basics. And like I said, we were hoping to do it again this year. We'll probably look to doing something, like you said, on a virtual level. But I mean, it's been amazing just to have the parents kind of cheer each other on or suggest, things that have worked for their kids. But I believe in, if you can get confident parents confident early on, then that's transferred to the kids. So that's our goal.
No, absolutely. That is amazing. And I love that you offer that as part of just a community that can ask questions. And like you said, it's a safe environment for them to be able to ask that. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Now, what is your best piece of advice for beauty influencers? I love asking you this question.
So does it have to be just one?
No, you can give multiple.
Okay.
Are you kidding? My people will love multiple.
So for me, like we just said, I'm very type A. I need to be like super focused on like what it is that I'm trying to achieve. So for me, I would say that decide on what it is that you want to use your influence for. You know, there are many different avenues, whether it's to make money. Some people strictly just want to make money. They want to advertise, you know, products or, you know, clothes, whatever it is. Are you just trying to grow a following? You want followers? Do you want to motivate? Do you, want to share, your stories and experiences? It's, and there's a way to do all of that. But for me, I think it's just important to decide, what your end goal is with whatever it is that you're, an influencer of. And I think for me, it was important to, only promote things that I believe in, that I can stand behind, because that's why people follow me. They trust me. And so I don't want to ever promote a product just because someone's paying me to do it. I don't want to promote something just because it's popular, or even on the same token of promoting, talk bad about, maybe some products that, are getting a bad reputation. Or, if it has not happened for me or in my chair, if I haven't had that experience, then it's just something that I'm very, careful about. And I think also going to the whole being Insta famous, I have a pretty decent following, but I'm not, your 20,000, million follower influencer. But I think that what's important is that if you have 500 followers, that you can convert those into 500 customers, even if it's 20, if they are believing in you and buying from you and, supporting you, I think that's more important than just having a certain number. Because I think you'll get a better return on your investment. When you have your Instagram, for instance, or your online presence, whether it's your website, that's an investment. You spend money on making it look great, on, updating, things of that nature. So I don't want to just be doing that just to put money out. I want to be getting money back in your pocket. That's the whole point of, you're not doing this for free or for fun, So that is my biggest thing. And just making sure that you aren't solely just in one avenue, like for instance, if you grow a following of 10,000 on Instagram, do you have a way to reach those people outside of if Instagram breaks down or goes down for the day? Have an email list, because to me, if you don't have that, another way to sell to those people or to reach those people, then you can't make money. Those contacts are useless for you. So that's my spiel.
I love them. So good. And for those wondering what Jenny was doing when she said about the email list, I was clapping very quietly, because you all know that are listening that is the number one thing that I constantly want to talk about, especially if you have a large influence on Instagram, whatever it might be. Grow that list. And I think everything that you said is connected to that authenticity, right? You're talking about not promoting products that you're not comfortable about, and really knowing the end game. I think that's the piece that a lot of people will miss, is they'll start creating content just to create it with no end game in mind. And if you do that, you're not going to be able to make the money because you don't know how you're going to do that.
You have no direction, like where it's a lot of times I feel it's really popular these days just to be Insta famous. And I guess if that's your, thing, then go for it. I just don't think that ultimately that's not enough. Like that just doesn't get you the money that you're looking for,
Yes. And there are so many ways that you can set up that Instagram profile and set up the content that you create so that it does have an end game. There is a way to grow your list there. There is a way to get them to your products and services that you're trying to offer while growing that audience. And I think something that you've done a great job, like you said, is that you get that engagement from your audience. Those are people that are going to convert into people that are going to be clients. They're going to be part of your group that you have for the Little Curlies campaigns. I just think that's absolutely the way things need to be done. So love it.
Thank you.
Of course. So tell us where the best places are to connect with you a bit more. Don't forget your podcast, because my podcast listeners are podcast listeners. So we definitely want to mention that as well.
Great. Yes. So we'll start with the podcast. If This Chair Could Talk, I'm on Apple. I'm on Spotify, on Podbean as well. Follow me on Instagram on Shassity Styles. as well as Sky Salons. And we would love all of our moms and dads, whether you have, curly kids, you may have curly nephews or, nieces, join us at the Curly Littles Campaign Facebook group. And for all things Shassity, please subscribe just to my website, so shassity.com. And you can see things from, hair related all the way up to travels. So it's all there.
No, that is great. We'll definitely make sure. And I think with the Curly Littles campaign, it's important that even if you don't have someone, like you said, like a nephew or niece, pass it to someone that could possibly use it, that you have
Absolutely.
someone, if you have a friend or family member that you could pass it on to. I just think it's such a great community to be able to foster. So definitely thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and share your knowledge with my audience. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for letting me sit on the other side. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Well, there you have it. Clearly, Shassity is a multi-talented entrepreneur that has so much going for her at just 35 too, might I add. So if you haven't already, please make sure just follow along with her, whether it is listening to her podcast or even just on Instagram. As always, you can take a screenshot and post it on your Instagram stories. You can tag me at Jenny_Melrose as well as at Shassity. And we will make sure that we obviously send you a DM back for sharing that. And also we'll possibly most likely reshare it. I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to listen in. If you could take a quick second, leave a review on your favorite podcasting app, I would so appreciate it. All right, guys, till next time, I will see you all then.